Hey everyone, this is Nico signing in, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the differences in, at least what I've experienced, the differences in the cinema. Now, do keep in mind, this is coming from the perspective of someone who grew up in the States, in America. So, for those of you from around the world, this may not be so much of a difference to you, but at least for me, this is what I have experienced here in Korea. So I have been an English teacher here in Korea, in South Korea, for 2 years now, and I am from Los Angeles, California. Alright, so here we go. Cinemas in Korea. So we're going to start off, okay, so I had to make some notes to kind of organize my thoughts. So I do have, let's see, I've got some pluses, I've got a couple minuses, and I also have a couple, like, midway, like I don't have any feeling at all. We'll start off with those in the middle. So we're going to start off with dried squid. So dried squid is very much a delicacy here in South Korea. It's very popular. Like, I'm an English teacher, and even my kindergartners, I teach elementary students, I also teach kindergarten students. Even my kindergartners love this stuff. I'm not a fan of it, and I'm not really finicky, I'm not very picky when it comes to foods. I'm not like, ew, yuck, I'm not like that type, but I'm just not a fan of dried squid. But even my kindergartners love this. They have dried squid, they have fried squid. I just think it's beyond amazing that they even serve this at the cinemas. I'm not saying it's gross, it's just not my thing. I actually think it's cool that they serve fried squid. It's very, very different. You won't see that in America. Alright. They also, here's another like so-so element to cinemas in Korea, and that is the giant postcard flyers slash mini posters, or mini poster advertisements that they have here in at the cinemas here in Korea. Like, I don't remember seeing any of this back in America, but they have these, these, like, they're about the size of a mini poster, and I personally never took one. I think I was handed one, and I briefly looked through it, not enough to remember exactly what's in there, but off the top of my head, from just that one moment when I was handed one, it was just like the front of the mini poster slash advertisement. It was just like movie poster artwork, and then on the inside they showed like other films, other new releases, or new releases to be released, like upcoming new releases, and I guess they showed a bit of information about each film. It was all in Hangul, in Korean, so I couldn't understand it, so at least that's what I perceived it to be. So I thought it was not weird, but just different from what I'm used to in cinemas back in the States, in America. Alright, so on to the pluses. So first off, you can choose your seats. Now I know in America, you go to the fancier theaters, cinemas, you have that option to choose your seats. I do think so. But here in South Korea, at least to every cinema that I've been to, it's predominant. Everywhere you go, you have to choose a seat. You have to. So when you pay for so you can pay for your ticket online, you can pay for it at a kiosk, like a booth, with a giant touchscreen monitor, which I think is super awesome. Or you can pay, like, traditionally, you go up to the counter and you pay there. And after paying, before paying, to be precise, you would choose your seat. So I think it's kind of cool. Like I said, I'm pretty sure other cinemas around the world you can do that, and even back home in America, but in America it's not predominant. Like, it's not like your average, everyday cinema that you go to with your friends. It's not like that where, oh, you can choose a seat. No. So I think it's super awesome that it's predominant here in South Korea. I think it's super awesome. Another plus. Going back, before I move on, one reason why I like to choose my seats is because it's not like back home where you couldn't choose your seats, and then you get people. It's mostly couples who do this, like couples or like family, I guess. Mostly couples. I don't see families doing it, but it's mostly couples who will come in and they'll say, "Oh, excuse me, could you?" They'll come up to you and they're like, "You're all prim and ready and comfortable to watch your film," and then this couple comes in and they're like, "Oh, excuse me," and sometimes they don't even say excuse me. They're like, can you switch seats, or can you move to that seat? Because I'm with my I'm with my partner here. Yeah, we'd like to sit there in your seat. So, gosh, at least now, here in South Korea, you can choose your seats and you don't have to deal with that. So I think it's awesome. Alright, moving on. Another plus is alcohol. I mean, you can buy alcohol and you can drink it inside the cinema as you are enjoying your film. Now, I think it's a super plus. I think it's awesome. You can't buy it specifically at the concession stand. Where they sell the popcorn, soft drinks, all stuff like that, all the sweets. They don't sell it there. They sell it like in a separate booth or stand where you can buy where you can buy beer. So I mean, it's just beer, but still, I think it's awesome that you have the option. I've done it a couple of times. I don't do it every time. So yeah, I think that's amazing. And next plus is, so I find this fascinating. I find this very fascinating. Cinemas in Korea. The auditorium, I want to say. So the auditorium, there is this ginormous empty space just below the screen where it's completely unoccupied. All it is carpet. That's it. And then you've got this back, this railing at the back that sections off all the seats that go up towards the top. But that ginormous, magic space just below the screen, it's amazing. Because cinemas back home in America, they're very efficient with the space. They want to make money, so they put seats all the way at the front, even just below the screen. It's very, very uncomfortable because you're gonna have to, you as the viewer, you have to watch the film with your neck craned back like that. Here in South Korea, you do not have to do that. And like I said, you can choose your seats, so there's no rushing to get the best seats. So I think that's fascinating because I was just taken away by that vast void of empty space, and I like it because no one ever has to crane their necks to watch a film. So in my lifetime, I've only seen 2 films where I had come to the cinema and into the auditorium, and I believe one of the times I was quite late. The other time, I don't know how there were so many people there early. But the 2 films were the very first film where I've had to watch with my neck craned up because I was sitting just below the screen in those seats in the auditorium was Napoleon Dynamite, and the other one was Harry Potter, and I believe it was either the Half-Blood Prince or the Prisoner of Azkaban. It was one of those. So only twice in my life, and they were beyond uncomfortable, so much that I actually remember those 2 films to this day. Not because of the film, but because of my experience watching at the cinema, at the very, very front of the auditorium, where I'm sitting just below the screen and my neck is like that the entire time. Especially Harry Potter. Such a long film. Alright. I believe that's all my pluses. No, one more plus. No, 2 more pluses. 2 more pluses. Okay. This one, I've got a double plus and I've got a plus. I'm going to start off with the plus. I'm going to save the double plus for last. So the plus. Inappropriate ads, inappropriate advertisements. So here in South Korea, and this will kind of tie into my minus part, a bit more of that later, but the plus part of it is inappropriate ads, advertisements, where they'll show they have these cartoons, and they're inappropriate. I mean, I can't remember off the top of my head the other ones, but the one that stuck in my mind the most, that I still remember to this day, is this advertisement. It was a cartoon, and it was about these men. They were idolizing. It was very weird. They were idolizing another man. I guess he was the popular man, And it's not like he was a jock. Like, cultural differences. He was basically like a K-pop idol. If you don't know what a K-pop idol is, look it up. I mean, you should know. And I'm not so much a fan of K-pop, but I know what a K-pop idol is. So there's these men, these grown-ass men. They're idolizing this other man who's like beautiful. I do believe he had blonde hair too, but he was like speaking Korean, of course. And like, he had flatulence. Like, he went around like, he would, I don't remember exactly, but I know for sure he was like touching them. Like, he was either carrying them with him behind, and like he was holding them, like kind of like hugging them from behind and picking them up, or he was just like hugging them, and then they were all farting. He was making them fart in front of everyone, in crowds too. Just flatulence. I mean, it's inappropriate, but I think it was funny. I liked it. It was super awesome. It's super funny. And I liked that they were showing that. And they were showing that in a film with like that kids would come to see with their families. It was like a family audience. And there were old people too, and like these people were okay with that. So yeah, I thought that was a nice plus. Now on to my double plus. Okay, so for me, on a side note, when I go to the cinema to, enjoy a film, I rarely ever buy snacks or drinks at the concession stand. I rarely do that. I mean, it's because I want to save money, but it's also more so because I use the bathroom so much. So if I get a snack, I'm going to want to drink. If I want to drink, I'm going to want to use the bathroom, and I'm going to make frequent visits to the restroom. So I just don't do that. And on top of that, I like to save money when I go to the cinemas. So I just don't. But in the rare occasions that I have purchased something to eat, it was like a date, or, I go out with some mates, and they're buying something, I was like, okay, sure, why not? They're all standing in line, I might as well be standing in line with them buying something. And I'm glad I did, because I was introduced to caramel popcorn. Now, caramel popcorn back in the States, in the US at least, is just, it's not gross, to me at least, it's just, so-so. It's not something I want to spend money on. It's not something I want to, just snack on. But here, caramel popcorn is completely different in South Korea. The caramel popcorn here is not glazed in caramel like it is back in the States. Their caramel popcorn here in South Korea is covered in a very, very fine powder. To me, at least, I remember it being much more finer than a grain of sand. Think of like powdered sugar, kind of like that. Very, very fine, like caramel dust, if you could call it that. And it's just beautiful. The taste, it's like, it's not what you would expect. It's not sweet. I mean, I guess it is. It's kind of sweet. I've had it like twice, but it's amazingly delicious. And if it's amazingly delicious to me, it's not super sweet at least. It's either not sweet or not... it's either not sweet at all or very, very, very super lightly sweet, if you could say that. So yeah, caramel popcorn. Alright, now on to the minuses. I've only got 2 minuses on my review, on my video for cinemas in Korea, so that's saying a lot. So the first one is, these two are kind of tied together. So I'll start off first with this. The start time is not the actual start time. So, cinemas back in the US. You go to see a film. Okay, I'd like to catch the 9:30 p.m. showtime for blah blah blah. Okay, here you go. So you go to the auditorium, you like to get there a little early, because you get there a little early, you can catch the trailers for upcoming films. Here in South Korea, the start time is not the actual start time. So you get there, just earlier tonight, right after work, hi, I'd like to buy an 8:30 ticket. I'd like to buy a ticket for the 8:30 showtime of Kung Fu Panda 3. On a side note, I just did a review, a full-blown review for Kung Fu Panda 3. It was so long I had to divvy it up into 2 parts. Do check it out. Alright, so back to this video. So yeah, you like the showtime for the Kung Fu Panda 3 film that I watched tonight was 8:30. I got there a little early at like 8:20 something, like 8:23. And come 8:30, it was not Kung Fu Panda 3. It was not even trailers. What it was advertisements. Advertisements for like a chair, like a desk, a computer desk chair. What else? Advertisements for coffee. And I know, like, back home, from time to time, you'll get some advertisements for, like, Mountain Dew, but that's very rare. But here is, like, advertisements for a computer desk chair and coffee, and, I think, like a bank commercial, too. But, yeah. And, so, yeah. So this ties into my next minus, and that is, the trailers are not enough, and by trailers I mean cinematic trailers for upcoming films. It was mostly advertisements, and these advertisements were just cycled over and over again. I'd say they played like at least 10 to 12 minutes worth of just advertisements, and there was one trailer, and that was just for like a Korean movie. But still, I'd rather have, like, all of it be trailers to Korean films and 0 trailers, or even and 0 advertisements, or even 1 advertisement is fine. But, yeah. So that is my spiel about cinemas in Korea. If you are interested in teaching English here in Korea, and you're interested in what life is like here in Korea, I do hope you enjoyed this video, because for those of you out there who like films, then of course you're going to want to know what it's like, what your everyday experience would be like to catch a film here at a cinema in South Korea. Thank you so much for chiming into my channel. This is Nico signing off. Take it easy, everyone.